Hey, thank you. That was really interesting. Is the sign language international? So is it spoken everywhere in the world the same way?
Well, all the countries have their own different sign languages, but we also have this sort of like international signing, sort of like Esperanto language. And you can, if I meet a new deaf person from another country, I will try to figure out all the signs that we have in common and the signs that I need to change and find some visual solutions. For example, this is a Finnish sign for coffee. You saw that you had the sign there that said coffee. Foreign people don't understand sign like this for coffee. They sign coffee like this. And what is this? What is this coffee? And they use coffee like this. So you need to always figure out the signs that you're using. But I myself know 5 different sign languages. In Japan sign language, I don't know that well. I know that some of it, and it's also interesting because they have a different history. Because they have the culture that's really affecting it. For example, in Finland, all the signs that connect with the functions of the brain, for example, thinking, knowing, stupid, crazy, well, anyway, they all happen here. But in Japan, they signed here. Because in the samurai culture, they were thinking that the heart and the brains are in here. So if they want to kill themselves, they would cut their stomach open because of that. And it's still affecting the sign language there.
Okay, thank you.
You were saying earlier that at some point Finland was going in the wrong direction with, I guess, the situation of deaf people. Where would you say we are at the moment?
Well, in Finland, the situation is good comparing to other parts of the world. But there's things that we can improve. But it's great about Finland. We have a sign language law that's coming up. It's approved, but it needs to be like fine-tuned still. But there's a language on sign language that's coming on. There's a law that's on sign language that's coming on. But there's few issues still that we could use some common sense with. For example, that Yle, the YLE, the Finnish Broadcasting Corporation, I don't know about the other TV channels, but they decided that in 2016, by the end of 2016, they will have subtitling for 100% of their programs. Not kids shows anyway, and not music programs anyway, and not sports programs anyway. So you're like, yeah, well, what's left? These are my life, these are the most important things in my life. I love all this music and sports, and I have a kid. And there's no subtitling for those. Why? For example, when I go to the movies, and if it's a Finnish movie, I cannot watch it because there's no subtitling there. So you have all these small issues that you could improve on. But in general, in evidence services, other things, education, you have all these possibilities. I could go to university. So in some countries, that's maybe impossible for a deaf person to get to university. So there's pros and cons. Wow, good toss.
So, how do you think technology can help the sign language? So, for example, we see now that Skype have these possibilities coming that if somebody speaks Spanish, it can translate straight away interactively to English, for example. And that's only the beginning. But do you see that, is there, for example, some kind of technology that can translate the language into sign language? for example, in interactively? Is there existing that kind of service yet?
Well, 1 month, 2 months ago, in internet, I think that in Germany they had some company who was trying to develop this camera extranet. For example, in Xbox, there's a camera that can look at your motions, and they would use this technology for interpreting signs into words. But I don't know if it's coming. If they can do it, I will salute them. But I don't think that it's gonna work, because in sign language, it works in a different. The words go in a different order than in a spoken language, and also the expressions are hugely important in sign language. So how can you have to do, put all these little things in your face into the Xbox? So how do you do that? But for example, in supportive signs, if you're using those, maybe for those that it's okay, but yeah. And there's a lot of apps that we're using now. In America, they have this app that you can use. The interpreter is always there, and it's really great. For example, if I bump into you, we're on the town, and I want to discuss with you. Now I need to order for an interpreter from Kela, and I think that maybe at fastest it's in 2 hours that I can get an interpreter. But if you would meet at the town, and we would be like in Kankaanpää, not in Helsinki, it takes two days to get an interpreter there, maybe. So it would be a good application that if you could have that. It doesn't work in Finland anyway, but yeah, maybe not yet. And also in my gigs, I'm trying to focus on how you can use visual technology, all the lights and the videos in the background. So there's a few things that I'm working on, so that they would know, they could do some motion sensors that I could guide the lighting with my motions. But you can see that maybe in the future, in the gigs coming up.
Thank you.
You said that facial expressions are very important in sign language. Tell a little bit more about that.
Well, for example, if you sign up for real, you tell me something. I can say really, like this. I can do it. There's two different ways of doing this, like this or like this. Yeah. So there's you can see the clear distinction there. Is it for real, or is that for real? So there's a small. It's important. The facial expressions are important, and you can sign yes like this, or you can do it like this. It's not kissing now. No. You can do it yes, or I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. You can do it like this. And you have all these micro things that you can do with your face. And I've organized all these workshops in different working places. I've noticed that Finnish people, the hearing people, it's hugely hard for them to raise their eyebrows. And they try to do that, and I'm trying to get them up. And so getting up higher, and they will start looking up. And it's really hard for Finnish people to do like this, because they don't have any control of their face. They just use the word like this. And I can remember the first time that I was in Milan. Oh no, what was it, Rome? Anyway, in Italy anyway. And I came to the airport, and I took a train to the central. And as I was sitting, I was thinking that the whole cart is full of deaf people. But no, because they were doing like this, And I was like, whoa! It was a great experience. I wanted to go discuss with them and trying that, if I can discuss. Well, but it was totally different, the way that they were using their hands and faces in Italy. And if you look at the Italian football, and all the fans there. Whoa. And the Finns are like this.
Hi, and thank you. So I just wanted to ask for a person who hears, if you could give just some advice on how to, like, say you meet a deaf person, or if there's some kind of common things that you should avoid or not avoid to make the communication better, or not to be offensive or anything. Because thank you.
Before you start discussing about important issues, you need to be brave. And not to go like this, hey, like, No. Just be brave. We don't bite you. But of course, yeah. For example, dark places are one thing. That's hard for us to sign. It's good if you have some light there. For example, if you're in a bar, and if I have my deaf friends there in the dancing floor, or we're sitting there, we don't discuss that much. Then we go into some place where there's a light, and then we discuss there. And in deaf community, we always say that we are like flies. We are drawn to the light. Because we sign there where there's light. It's a good start for communication is if you can finger spell, even if you do it slowly. You can do this hello. H-A-L-L-O. Just one letter at a time. H-A-L-L-O. But it's a good way of starting. It's slow, but it's a good way of starting it. And then if you start to learn some sign, if you have some issue you want to tell a deaf person, is to touch. Because with us, touching is normal. Hugging is normal. We hug each other all the time. That's the deaf way of doing things. And sometimes in Finland, if I try to hug some hearing person, I go, it's like this, You have the distance, but for us it's normal to touch another person. But don't touch on the head, it's not good. Or in the hand, no. I don't come pointing my finger into your mouth when you're speaking. So it's up here, that's good. But I don't know if there's anything that special. Who's next?
Okay, so I just wanted to ask that in Finland, what are the opportunities for ordinary people to learn the sign language? If you go to school, you can learn almost any language. There are a lot of languages you can learn. So, and like in kansalaisopisto, you have a lot of courses available to learn different languages. So if any of these people would like to learn a sign language, so what should they do?
Yes, for example, my company organizes sign language courses, the beginning and the continuation courses, different kinds of courses. So if you're interested, my assistant is here, Iris over there. You can stand up. If you're interested, you can contact her and ask her more about because I think that, I don't know if we decided the dates yet, but yeah, we have these courses coming up. That's one way of doing it. Also, if you go to the Working People's Academy, there's courses there, and they organize, but we organize them better, so come to us. And if you want to become a professional interpreter or a sign language assistant, then you need to apply for, I think the Helsinki Citizens Academy organizes it, or HUMAC, the Polytechnic for Humanities, organizes it also. And they have interpreter training there that takes on for 4 years. Yeah.
So
it depends on what you want to do.
So what would it, if you compare to learning other languages, let's say you start to learn French. So compared to sign language, would it take the same time to learn the basic vocabulary, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 words? Because at least we are all humans, we are some way used to using our faces and hands and like that. So would it be a quicker process or just about the same as learning any other language?
Well, it depends on the person. Somebody learns languages really fast, somebody learns slower. But I think that, for example, in Humac, where I used to work for 5 years there as a sign language teacher, in the first year students, you just start by teaching them all the basic signs. And then you go into building sentences and stuff like that, and then you go into more theoretical stuff. And at the 4th year, you just start interpreting for real. But it also combines the thing that what I would have wished for in Finland, that you could have that as a subject in the Finnish high schools, in the Finnish lukio. You can choose, different languages you can choose there, and in different countries you can have sign language in the high school training, but in Finland you cannot have sign language there. So I think that it's a good idea to add that there.
Could you please, the assistant of the deaf mute, tell him that in sign language, Finnish language, what's the difference in the structure? So how do you learn it? So if you could just tell that deaf person, not you, but the deaf person, so if you could just tell to the mute that what I understand.
Yeah, I know her. We've known each other. That's a good point, using the term there. Because in the beginning of the 1900s, we've used the word deaf mute. And please don't use that ever, anywhere. We don't use the word mute. I would just, it was in the 1970s, we decided that we're not using the word mute anymore. It's just the word deaf. It's still people use because they don't know. They chase at the deaf mute, they use the word deaf mute. But the word is deaf. But nowadays, maybe 10 years ago, in 10 years, people have started changing and using the word that I'm sign language using, or I'm sign language user. And because I don't feel that I'm disabled. I'm deaf, yeah. I'm a hearing impaired, yes. But anyway, it contradicts the thing that I have, the situation that handicapped people have here in Finland. For example, if you go into the sports, to the Paralympics of sports, I cannot go there. I can't do Paralympics. I would have liked to go there, get a lot of gold medals there, and then the city would give me a state or a summer place for me, and it would have been easy. But they wouldn't allow me there in the Paralympics. Or, for example, the Helsinki in the summer sports here in Helsinki, the Helsinki public transport, they don't give me any free passes for the buses. They give them that to people who have mobility disabilities. They say that I'm not mobilely disabled, and that is why I'm not given a free pass. And I say to them, okay, maybe you're not giving that also to the blind people either. And they were like, okay, we give that to blind people. And I was like, why is that? Why do blind people get the free passes, but I don't? And so you have all these contradictions in places and stuff. So if I was the president or whatever, I would say that the deaf people would need a new class for deaf people. We would need a new class, determinations, because we're not impaired, we're not handicapped. So that maybe it's a language minority disabled or something like that. I don't know what the class would be, but we would need a new definition for the deaf. Or sign language using. And my daughter, she's 7 years old, and she's sign language using. and her first language is sign language, and that is her, and also as a native language she speaks Finnish. And she was 5 months old when she used her first sign, and at 1 year's age, and she could use 108 signs and could speak 8 words. So when she was crying at night, I could discuss with her what's the problem. We could communicate. And when I took her to the kindergarten, in 2 months, we had the first parents meeting there. And they say that, yeah, we are a bit like, we wanted to discuss this because think that your child has some issues in learning to speak. And I was laughing at them. I said, yeah, you just wait for a few months more, you just wait. And at Christmas time, my daughter was there leading the choir for the Christmas carols. You know, so yeah. Something more, yeah. Also, interpreters, the way that we use interpreters, when you meet the deaf person, don't ever, I don't do like this to you. You cannot say that. Can you tell him? Don't say tell him. You just think that there's that the interpreter is not there. You just think and you talk and straight to the deaf person. You look straight at the deaf person. That is the best way. You say how you doing. Don't say that. Don't tell him that. How are you doing? Do that. Yeah. Just straight. Communicate straight. Because the interpreter is not my assistant. It would be different. It would be different if the if they said that an interpreter would be my assistant, so they would come to my home and would do all my chores and stuff like that. If you know, iron my shirts and stuff like that. If she was my assistant, I could give that all the work to her. But yeah, it doesn't work that way now.
We're running a lot over time. I'm really grateful. I'm really happy you came. And kind of some of the ideas, like core ideas, like came to my mind, like how do you react when you come to an obstacle? And kind of what are kind of the advices? I mean, all of us, we come to obstacles, and then we come to a decision. How do we kind of react upon that? And kind of where did you find your strength in pushing through? And what are your kind of tips?
Well, many people ask me the same thing. And I've tried to find a good answer to that, but how did I, as a person, react to those situations? But I think that for a long time that I had the feeling that at first, because I've had to take the responsibility for my life from early on, so I had to defend myself to my friends, to my parents, and if I saw something that was wrong, an obstacle or a problem, I would go there. I knew that I need to go there and figure it out and solve it. So it's in my attitude. I cannot just stand that there's a barrier or an obstacle or something like that. I want to change that. Also, it connects to that I'm also ambitious in a good way. I'm ambitious. It's a good thing in general, but maybe a bad thing in sports. Because if I lose, I will try even more, and it's a good thing in that. But also has to do with this also, that if there's an obstacle and I start to feel like a loser, I will just try more, and I want to change the situation. And also in Finland, many people don't understand that what is the structural depression that people have, or oppression that people face. I don't know if that's the correct term, but
Yeah.
you need to figure out that you cannot do it like that. You can't do that like this because I need this, and this. And they say that, no, we can't do that, you don't understand. And I'm like, well, what, why? So it's you have these obstacles, but yeah, that's in my life. It's your own attitude, your own will to make it better and to go into a better direction.
Good. Thanks for showing us an example. And lifts the hand up to Marko. Good. I need a hug. Kiitos. Ja mahtavaa.